Christ is risen. The Lord is risen indeed. Alleluia. Hi everyone. Happy Easter. We missed our usual Easter egg hunt this morning, so I thought I'd tell you a story instead. Listen carefully to see if you recognize any of the characters in the story. Once, there was an old farmer who lived with his wife just outside the gates of Jerusalem city. Every day, his wife would gather the eggs laid by their chickens, and every day, the old farmer would go through the gates in the city of Jerusalem to sell the eggs in the marketplace. In this way, the old couple made just enough money to live. One day, the farmer went into the city, as he always did, carrying a basket of smooth white eggs to sell in the market. He covered the eggs with a napkin to keep them sheltered from the morning sun. But today, something strange was happening in the city. There was a large crowd gathered. The people were noisy and excited. There seemed to be a tired, tattered young man in the center of the crowd. The old farmer protected the basket of eggs in his arms so they would not get jostled or broken by all the people who were crowding around. The farmer edged his way into the crowd so he could get a closer look at the unusual man who seemed to be causing so much excitement. The man was wearing a crown of thorns and walking up a hill, carrying a large cross that seemed to be much too heavy for him. The crowd followed the man and shouted at him as he struggled along. The old farmer walked along with the crowd. What had this man done to receive such cruel treatment? The man had deep and sad eyes, but he looked down kindly on the poor farmer and his basket of eggs. The farmer just couldn't help it. He put down his precious basket and took up the cross from the strange man's arms. The farmer was surprised at how heavy the cross felt on his own strong shoulders. The stranger walked silently alongside the farmer as they walked slowly up the hill. There were Roman soldiers waiting at the top of the hill. They took the cross from the old farmer and pushed him aside. The farmer watched what was going on from his place at the back of the crowd of people. The soldiers nailed the man to the cross and set it up on top of the hill between two other men. The crowd continued to shout at the man, but after a while they started to go away. And after a few hours, there were only a few people left standing around the cross. The farmer, who had lost all track of time, could not take his eyes off the deep, sad eyes of the man on the cross. The sky around Jerusalem got almost as dark as night, even though it was only mid-afternoon. At last, the man on the cross said something the farmer could not understand, and then took his last breath and died. A few people took the man's broken body off the cross and carried it away. The farmer was curious about who this man was and where he would be buried. So he followed the people to a tomb where they washed the man's body, wrapped it in a clean white cloth, and buried it. They left the tomb with tears in their eyes. The farmer was too tired to walk all the way back home. I'll just rest here a while, he thought. He lay down in a garden near the tomb. The sound of voices woke the farmer up. He had slept for so long. 3 women were talking excitedly. The man's body was gone. He had risen from the dead. The women rushed off to tell their friends what had happened. The farmer was excited too. He couldn't wait to go home and tell his wife what he had seen. Oh no. His wife would want the money from selling the eggs. The farmer realized he had forgotten all about the smooth white eggs he had brought to sell at the market. Where were they? The farmer rushed to the place where he had left his basket, and it was right there, right where he had left it when he picked up the cross to help carry it. But when the man lifted the napkin covering the eggs, he saw something amazing. The eggs were transformed. Each egg was covered with beautiful colors and designs. The eggs looked just like this. Now, I wonder why the farmer's eggs look different. I wonder how they were changed. I wonder what the farmer told his wife. I wonder what she felt when she heard the farmer's story. I wonder your favorite part of the story. I wonder what the most important part of the story is. You know, you can make pretty eggs like this to remind you of this story. You could, or may have already painted eggs with your family. Or you could color one of the eggs that I sent to your family in an email. Either way, if you do make beautiful eggs to remind you of the story, I hope you'll show me the next time we see each other.